Bitcoin is beating inflation if you hold on to it long enough. I mean, this is no brainer. The longer you hold on to Bitcoin, the more you make. Nothing has outperformed Bitcoin, including inflation. Even inflation didn't outperform Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up like 1,000,000% over the last 10 years. Nothing is close, and I don't think anything's going to change. Now, short term, you could see some red. Of course, there are some people that bought from top, right, and held it to the bottom. So, yeah, they're not outperforming inflation if you look at it that way. But right now, as it stands, 80% of Bitcoin holders are in the green. 80%. And that number will only diminish as Bitcoin's price goes back up towards $69,000. But 80% are already in the green. And after the cycle, people will notice. People will all notice that Bitcoin is the big daddy. It's the asset people want to hold. And there's no looking back. So with the macro stuff out of the way, let's talk about some bullish things. First of all, Willy Woo, who is a big analyst, has been around for a long time. And I say big analyst because he has a large following. A lot of people do pay attention to what Willy Woo says. And according to this indicator, which he created, Bitcoin cost basis density map, basically this is just measuring where all the volumes are, like where people start buying. It almost looks like he's shading this in by hand, but not really. But basically, he's saying this is true. Bitcoin will never, ever, ever see less than 30,000 again. No more. We're not going to see sub 30,000 ever again, according to Willy Woo. Okay, and this is, again, according to the users, the volume, and you can basically see the dense volumes. That's where it's labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We passed 8. We're going into 9, which is getting up to the halving event. I don't know. I mean, 30,000 is not too far off from where we are. And I don't expect us to ever go below 30,000. But, if you think about it, it's only about 20-something%. And we have seen dips, even during bullish parabolic rises, more than 20-something%. Easy. But if you look at some of our lowest lows, are we going to see 15,000 again? What we saw earlier this year in January? No, I don't believe we'll ever see 15,000 again. Are we going to see 3,100 again or 3,800? Previous lows from 2020 and 2018. No, I don't think we'll see those numbers ever again, right? So this is what happens with every single run. After this next run leading up to peak in 2025, we're going to come back down again. And who knows, at that point, our low may be like 40,000, 45,000. And then we could say, yeah, we'll never see 15,000 again. Or we could say we'll never see 30,000 again. The next bottom of the next cycle could be higher than where Bitcoin is now. Just think about that for a second. I am having a kickoff party in Vegas, December 14th. So if you guys want to come out and meet me and other influencers that are in the IFC, this is the spot to go. And not only that, Crowded Combat is going to be there. Their fighters are going to be there. I'm going to invite others in this space, other influencers, other projects. If you've been to one of my network parties before, it's going to be like that, but even bigger this time around. I have 3 different tickets. If you want to participate, you want to join, please do so. Use the code 25 off. You'll get $25 off. And for people that's been asking for a new NFT, if you go with the VIP program or ticket, you will get airdropped an exclusive I Am George NFT that will be included. Make sure you check it out if you are interested. This is in Vegas. Remember, what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. And you get to check out all the fighters, all the other influencers, myself, and all the major projects will be there. It's going to be a good party, a good time. So check it out. What else is there? Pantera Capital CEO makes this argument that we should buy the rumor and buy the news. Usually it's buy the rumor, sell the news. And he even made a point about this in his long X thread. How CME futures, when it launched in 2017, peak of 2017, Bitcoin went down dramatically. So obviously a sign of buy the rumor, sell the news. And some argue that Bitcoin's bubble was burst because of futures introduction. Even the former SEC chair, Jay Clayton, said that Bitcoin futures was rushed out on purpose to burst Bitcoin's bubble. He has gone on record and said that. This is how scared they were of Bitcoin back in 2017. They didn't know how to control it. SEC didn't know how to control it. So what they did was allow Bitcoin futures to take place. You can make the argument that Bitcoin would have come down anyways because that was the peak of the cycle. But he specifically came out and said that's why they approved futures so fast to try to pop Bitcoin's bubble. So obviously that's a sign of buy the rumor, sell the news. And then you had Coinbase listing. Coinbase, when it came out, also its stock pumped up to the moon. Again, that was like not at peak of 2021, but pretty close in 2021. Obviously, we know that 2022 was a bad year, so you can make an argument that Coinbase stock would have gone down anyways. But still, it happened. So he's making a case. You have two very hyped up scenarios that should have been really good and pumped Bitcoin more, but it ended up being bad. And the second one, Coinbase has nothing to do with Bitcoin falling. So again, that doesn't really apply. But you just try to make an argument. But he's saying with Bitcoin ETFs though, it's different because neither of those events had any impact on real world access to Bitcoin. See, that is true. That's why this time around it's different. It's buy the rumor, buy the news. This is different. A BlackRock ETF fundamentally changes access to Bitcoin. It will have a huge positive impact. And I agree. And they're not launching at the peak of 2025. If a spot Bitcoin ETF was launched, let's say, I don't know, October or November of 2025 at peak, then I could see how there may be a sell-off afterward, just like futures when it was introduced. But no, we're not getting it at peak. We're getting it in 2024. Yeah, and I think most of these fund managers all can agree, whether they like Bitcoin or not, is that Bitcoin spot ETF will just open up. It's just another avenue for institutional investors to come in. That's really it. And this avenue is huge. It's like a 100-lane highway. Bitcoin spot ETFs in general are just absolutely huge. They have a tremendous market cap, a lot of fund managers, pension funds, retirement funds, hedge funds, obviously. That's all they do is look at ETFs, and it's going to bring in so much liquidity into this space, unlike anything we have ever seen before. Futures, Bitcoin futures, really has nothing to do with Bitcoin other than tracks Bitcoin's price, but it's all settled in cash. There's no trading of Bitcoin. There's no buying of Bitcoin, none whatsoever. But with spot Bitcoin ETFs, completely different. Buy the rumor, buy the news, according to Dan Moorhead. And I agree. All right, so as for Bitcoin, short term, this is what it looks like. Basically, we're trending upwards. There may be a down dip, like what we're seeing right now, and then shoot right back up to 39,000. Keep in mind, nothing goes up forever in a linear line. There will be up and downs. There always is up and downs, okay? So if you're discouraged by today's activity, please don't be, because like I've been showing you guys, we've been trending upwards and upwards and upwards and upwards, and this is no time to be discouraged by such a small dip. We are at the cusp of something greatness, and you don't want to be scared out with a little dip like what we're seeing.